Okay, so welcome everybody. Welcome back to my birdie's world, video world. Yes, I've had 3 weeks off. I think I was feeling a bit mentally tired, really. But also, is that I've got to my pension age, so whenever it was. Week last Thursday, I got to 66. So I just thought I'd take a bit of time off just to give myself a bit of space around that, reflect on it a little bit, do some work on kind of things, figures and stuff like that. You got to work out for make everything on a financial footing and all that, good financial footing. But also, I thought it'd be good to have a solitary retreat, so that's what I did last week. So I did basically 8 days of no electronic input. I turned my phone off, all my computers, iPads, everything, and basically stayed in my flat most of the time and just read a couple of books, so I'm going to talk about that later. So that's the theme of today, really. Doing a solitary in your flat, in the midst of a lockdown. So it might be that, you might be on your own anyway, but if you're not living with anybody, but still you can do something that's qualitatively different if you bring your mind to it. So that's what I did, and I kept saying to myself, what do you really want to do next? What do you want to do next? And do you want to have a lie down, or do you want to read your book, or what do you want to do? And just being, giving yourself time that's independent of what the world might want from you, or what you might feel responsible for in the world, is just refreshing in itself, and it helps you reconnect with what you might be interested in, or what you are really interested in, and then that's often a good way of coming back into things where you're actually a little bit more coming from a kind of purer place, really, where it's like you're doing things because you want to do them rather than you feel like you have to, or all that sort of thing. So anyway, so I finished that solitary on yesterday noon, and it's a bit sad, really. I came out of the solitary, and then I noticed that two people who've been involved in this group, but it's kind of on Facebook a lot. Both the dads had died. Shobit in India, his dad died, had a heart attack, and his dad used to come to some of the sessions and things and do pujas. So it's just how things are. Things just changed all the time. And also Liz in Barnsley, her dad, Ewan Price, he died as well. He was 99 and a half, and he joined into some of the sessions that we did earlier in the year, about maybe 4 or 5 months ago, something like that. So just wishing those two well in their journey. Okay, so I'm going to get myself moving again after 3 weeks off. So you just do. It works through doing, through acting. Change through acting. So what we're going to do today is do a bit of body work and a bit of meditation, and then a little bit of me talking about that solitary that I just did. And we'll have another session tomorrow, and then one on Friday, and then from now on could do about 3 sessions a week, something like that. But I'm doing other things in the background, so you might see things appear on Facebook that are to do with Buddhism, that are shorter videos. I'm trying to sort of do some kind of more punchy kind of teaching videos, and have discussions as well. So but all that's kind of in the future. It needs kind of working through and organising and all that sort of thing. So yeah, but yeah, there's some ideas for the future there. So, all right, stop waffling on. All right, so we'll begin by just tapping with your fingers on the top of your head. And feel the contact of your feet and the ground. And as I've often said, just giving yourself enough time, so not sort of rushing through the body work. Just be patient. Sort of sense that you're looking after your body. You're kind of waking your body up. You come into contact with it, saying hello to it. So one of the things that maybe distinguishes Buddhist culture. So one of the books I read was it was all about how Buddhism came into Victorian society, or how it was welcomed into. It was both welcomed and they didn't like some things about it. But yeah, the body in Buddhism, it's like something to be looked after and as a support to your mind and your emotions. And I think in the Victorian era, it was all a bit like harsh and not a great sense of. There's a lot of sense of duty and hard work and all that sort of thing. Not a real great sense of people taking care of themselves. And I think the body was seen as a bit of something that's a bit impure and to be kind of worked around or something, and rationality was the big thing, and progress and all that sort of stuff. But I think Buddhism's saying that you need to take your body. Well, you do actually take your body with you wherever you go. So the state that it's in is always going to be affecting you, and so you need to regularly give it some attention. It doesn't need to be greatly technical. All those sort of things that are in the East, like Qigong and Tai Chi and all that, even though they've got forms to them, those forms are just there to help bring about certain sort of energy and vitality, and they're not things to be, well, they are to be followed, but it's the principle behind it. It's the important thing. So the principle is something like stimulation and also relaxation as well at the same time. So just give you back of your hand a bit of a massage with your knuckles, make it a little bit painful. So we're trying to create an effect. Sometimes there's only one way of doing it. It's like maybe this is the only way that we actually do wake our hand up in a certain sort of way. You might want to do it in a different way, but this is what we have to do. Palm of your hand as well. I feel a bit better already doing this. And then the other side. But sometimes it's like, we do something about the way things are often parts of our experience are often interconnected. So we might do something which is working on our hands. But what we notice is that we start to relax in other parts of the body just through working on one part. So it's like there's the idea of you polish over there and it shines. So polish here, it shines there. You polish in one place and it shines somewhere else. So give your body some good attention and stimulation, and your mind probably just clears. But we've always got to be actually working with awareness. So, you know, we're looking at what actually happens when we do one thing. What happens? We don't. It's not that helpful to just keep doing things in a kind of going through the motions sort of way. You know, go through the motions and hope for the best. Okay, shake your hands out. And then just give your face a bit of a massage with your hands. Just hold your hands over your face for a minute. And turning away from the world in your mind. You don't need to be always pointing outwards into the world. Sometimes we need to point inwards. Okay, and then just circling on your stomach. Work your chest up a little bit. And then just drumming lightly on your kidneys at the back. And then more heavily on your buttocks. And down your legs as far as you can go. And shake everything out. Okay, so that's the stimulating part of body work. So now just going to do something to smooth that energy out. So if you just put your hands one on top of the other on your stomach, just underneath your belly button. And then just catch your breath a little bit. And when you notice that you're breathing out, just bend your knees and straighten your knees on the in-breath. So you're going down on the out-breath, turning round, coming up on the in-breath, and then down on the out-breath, coming up on the in-breath. Try to notice if you're actually moving or you just stood in the same place, if you're just not going up and down. You're probably in your head a little bit too much if you're not moving at all. So it's just taking your body down in one piece, on the out breath, bringing it up again on the in breath. down on the out breath. Now just bring your hands up to your chin on the in breath, and then taking them down to your hips on the out breath. Turning at the hips and then bringing them up again. Turn at the chin down again. And then up and down and up and down. And next time, keep going past your chin into the air and out to the sides and down the sides. And then again up the middle. Okay, so you should feel a bit different now. So you want to get into your meditation posture. Oops, who's got my bell? Great. Okay. So I was wondering which meditation to do this morning. So should we do the Metta Bhavana, loving kindness meditation, or the or grounding meditation, something like that? I think the Metta Bhavana is appropriate one. Just wishing people well out there in the world, and connecting with ourselves and what's important for us. So if you want to just get used to being in a meditation posture. So being aware of the sensations of the contact of your body with the ground and whatever you're sitting on. And just having a sense of the world that you live in, a sense of your life in time, all the moments that you've experienced in the past, and all the moments that you will experience in the future. And arriving into the particular moment in time that your life's taking place, which is right now, the present moment. Just waiting for yourself to arrive into the moment. Letting it dawn on you that this is where you are in time. And also this is where you are in space, in a particular place where you are right now. And it's also the case that you have a body, and that body has a particular structure to it. So tuning into the structure of your body and just allowing the bones of the body to take the weight of the body down into the ground. And maybe inhibit yourself from doing anything about your body, like making yourself sit up straight or anything like that. Because often when we try doing something in terms of relaxation, we just introduce tension into things. Just have a sense that your body knows how to sit down. It doesn't need any help from your mind. Just let it sit there. Just let it support you. And you could assess that when your attitude towards your body is the right one, that you don't need to feel responsible for it. It can just sit there supporting you. Your mind and emotions don't need to be involved with it. So you just pay attention to balancing your spine. And if your spine is balanced, then the muscles of your body can be confident that they can let go without your body collapsing. So just allowing yourself to soften in your muscles of your body. And we can keep coming back to this through the meditation. It's not something we do once and then that's it. We'll fall back into trying to hold ourselves up again. And we're just trying to keep remembering to just let our body sit there, not forcing it in any way. Just let it naturally, let the skeleton support the weight, and then let the muscles soften, just like unfurling a fist. And then taking our attention to our experience recently, so what have we been experiencing in terms of pleasure and pain and difficulty and success, those sorts of things, achievement and failure, and so having a sense of the kind of rich and changing tapestry of our life in terms of pleasure and pain and fulfillment and meaninglessness, All these things come and go. And sometimes they come because of our actions, and sometimes they come not because of our actions, through other circumstances. But through all the change, through all the happiness and suffering, there's still one thing that we can do, which is to be there for ourselves, to be behind ourselves in our lives, to be wanting what's best for ourselves and others. So just trying to have a sense of what you really like in life. What do you feel really, what conditions do you feel really nourished by? Can you remember a time in your life where those conditions were present and things just were going really well? So whether or not those sort of conditions are that possible at the moment, they might not be. It's still possible and also important to have a sense of what we actually do like. What is happiness for us? And we can still have the wish that those conditions might come back to us again. Maybe just imagine putting a hand in the center of our back, and it's a kind of comforting hand. And that hand is just gently guiding us towards what's best for us, what's better for us. The hand just represents a kind of interest in ourselves. May we be well. Metta Bhavana. So noticing when our attitude towards ourselves is kind and spacious and understanding. Noticing when we revert to being harsh or critical towards ourselves. or even indifferent towards ourselves. And when that happens, just remembering that we're a human being. Remembering the bigger picture of ourselves and our lives. May we be well. And coming back to the image of the hand in the center of our back, just gently guiding us forward towards what's best for us, towards what's abundant and fulfilling. And away from what's cold and indifferent, harsh. So now in the second stage, the metabhavana, we bring to mind a friend, somebody roughly the same age who you don't have any kind of sexual or romantic attraction towards. They're just a friend, keeping it simple. And having a sense of their lives, the tapestry of their experience, from feeling good, feeling happy, feeling making achievements in life, to failure and despair and difficulty and loss and all the things that happen, and confusion. So just adding to that awareness the idea that they're not indifferent to all of that, to what happens to them. Underneath everything, they want to be happy and not suffer. So we can have some kind of solidarity with them in that. Being a witness to the kind of life that they would like, being behind that for them, wishing them well. So any time in meditation, if you get a bit lost, just coming back to just allowing your body to just sit there, balancing your spine, softening the muscles of the body, because they will be supported by the structure of your body. So when we find it hard to concentrate, or we're losing our sense of, we're getting a bit impatient with our meditation, it's often something on the level of the body that's crept in, that's bothering us. So just giving that some attention. And then coming back to the image of our friend and wishing our friend well. So we've given some consideration to ourselves as a human being and our welfare, and we've given some to our friend. There's like billions of people out there in the world, and most of those people for us are what we call neutral people. We don't feel strongly for or against them. So we just pick one of those people. Now we try to gauge our imagination with them and their lives. Having a sense of all the ups and downs that they probably go through, the happinesses and the despairs, confusions, the clarities of experience. And in all of that, behind all of that, just wishing them well. So that it starts to become a bit more important to us what happens to them. So our life becomes a bit more entwined with their life. So in the fourth stage, we allow the image of the neutral person to fade, and we bring to mind somebody that we're having some difficulty with at the moment. And if you can't think of anybody, it's often advised to maybe think of a member of your family or something like that. So we probably feel like this person impacts our life in a negative way. That's why we have difficulty with them. And maybe we blame them for various things and think, oh, if only they wouldn't do this, then this would be better. Again, just try to allow our life to be a bit more entwined with their life so that we're not trying to escape from being around them, or we're not trying to have them disappear just to make our life easier. And just trying to see that, as we're more entwined with them, that they have their hopes and fears and pleasure and pain, losses and gains in life. And they care about what happens to themselves. So, without denying the reality of the situation, that they do things that we find painful. Is there a way in which we can still wish them well, even though that's the case? In a way, their welfare and our experience are two completely separate things. So wanting to care for ourselves so that we're not wanting to have difficulty in our lives, also wanting to care for a difficult person. Through seeing things a little bit more from what their perspective might be on their own life. And the final stage where you bring to mind all 4 people that we've used in the meditation. We try to have a sense of equalising the care that we would feel towards all 4. We're not preferring anyone to any other person in the meditation. May we all be well. And then bring to mind people around you who live in your house or street. And trying to see how they also are in the same situation as the 4 people that you've used in the meditation. None of them want to suffer. All of them want to be well. Try to have a sense of what that means for them. What kind of thing would constitute wellness for them. And just gradually expanding outwards into the world. Including more and more people, other kinds of beings, animals, insects, birds, fish. People that you would normally get on with and people that you would struggle to get on with. Trying to see how each being is just seeking their happiness in the best way that they know how. And trying to get behind them in that. Not judging them for being different from us. Seeing the common thread among all beings. To seek happiness. Okay. Well, it is nice to be back. Actually, it's nice to have something to engage with in the mornings, and other people to engage with. And actually, I just realised that I can do what the hell I like. These sessions, kind of. Sometimes I think, oh, what am I going to do? And I think I might do what I want. So anything that I'm interested in, I can talk about, which is great, isn't it? Okay, so what I thought would be good to talk about today is the experience I've just had, which was to be on a solitary retreat in my flat. I basically live in a one-bedroom flat in Manchester, in the kind of student area. It's quite a nice flat, south-facing, on the first floor in a house. I'm very lucky to have it. Really, it's a council flat, and then it went over to a housing trust. So I've been in it almost 20 years now. But it is interesting that so the principle behind doing a solitary retreat. So Buddhists will, maybe when they've been involved in Buddhism for a couple of years or something, or maybe a bit more, once they start to feel a bit more, they've been on a few ordinary retreats, like week-long retreats, weekend retreats to start with, then week-long retreats. Then maybe like 3 years in or something to their Buddhism, they might think, oh, people do solitary retreats, maybe I'll try that. So on a normal retreat, what you'd have is a program. So you'd have a program of events, and it'd be something like, get up at once the retreat's got going, get up at 6:30, and then there might be a meditation for 40 minutes at 7:00, and then another one, then a leg stretch, and then another one for maybe half an hour at 8:00, and then breakfast at 9, and then wash up and stuff, and then there might be a session at 10:30, which might be a talk or something, or a workshop that might run through till about 12:30 or something, with a break, and then it'd be lunchtime, and then normally there'd be free time in the afternoon for going for a walk or whatever you wanted to do, and then there'd be another session at 4:00, maybe a meditation, or might be a double meditation or something like that, or some input. Then tea at 6, and then something usually in the evening at 8:00, maybe for like an hour or something, meditation and puja, hour and a half, and then go to bed. So it's like you're doing this with other people, and you have this structure. So the idea is that you kind of, it's like going to work, really. So you go to work and you just do what you have to do, and then you go home again. You just follow instructions. So being on retreat's a bit like that. It's a bit like going to work. So you just give yourself up to the program. You just do it. But it's more like a kind of spiritual kind of work. So doing meditation, you end up doing a lot more meditation than we'd normally do, and you end up meeting with people and chatting, and maybe going a bit deeper in your friendships with people or connections with people. And there'd be some silence, usually will be brought in at some point, and depending on how deep, how experienced the people on retreat were, that you'd have more silence or less silence. And then you might read a book or something. Use it as a chance to do that. Go for walks in the countryside. So the whole thing is like your you're kind of doing more refined activities that are going to benefit you. Maybe you do body work as well, that are going to sort of reset your parameters. Relax a bit more, kind of have the space to think about things, and maybe clear up some of the things in your mind, the conflicts and stuff like that. So all of that is what you do on a normal retreat. But on a solitary retreat, it's like you could almost say, well, the main thing on a solitary retreat is being on your own. So in a way, that is the nature of the meditation. So what happened this week was that I decided to do like 8 days in my flat, running up until from noon on week last Sunday to noon yesterday. And I was going to have turn all my devices off. So no phone, no internet, no computers, no iPads, anything. So I just turned all that off. I didn't do it immediately because I still had some things to finish off, so before I could do that. But I did it after a few hours, and then I thought, oh, actually, I'd like to try and do like maybe 4 hours meditation a day, something like that, and to get outside for like 3 hours a day if I can, because I think sometimes I can get a bit stuck in this flat and not get out enough. I just thought, oh, it's be good exercise, good practice to just be actually breathing air more, even if it's just sitting in my doorway with the door open, looking at nature out the front of the garden. That would count, What actually happened was that I kind of had that aim, and I did that for the first maybe day or so. But then what came up for me was that I found that I needed to keep asking myself, well, what do you really want to do? Because what would happen is I'd find myself being on autopilot and just thinking, oh, what should I be doing? Should I be meditating? Should I be doing? It's all should. So yeah, the point behind solitary is like getting away from shoulds and just thinking, well, what do I actually want to do? Or, in this next moment, or, just giving yourself the choice. So I didn't end up doing lots of meditation or getting outside. In fact, what I ended up doing was reading three different books, but one of them mainly, which I finished. So I've not actually read a book from cover to cover. It was only about 160 pages, but I've not actually done that for years, and it was just a way of just absorbing myself in something which was other than the world, and me responding to the world, or me being helpful to the world, or me taking the world into consideration. So it's almost like it became a bit of a barrier between me and the world, that I'm just reading my book, No, I'm doing my book, right? So I ended up in this weird kind of lack of it's kind of non-routine, really, where I just moved between having to lie down and then I'd go somewhere else and read my book. I'd go through to another room and read my book for a bit on the settee and that. And then I'd have something to eat, a cup of tea. And then I think, oh, I need another lie down, have another lie down. and it got to the point where I was like lying down in the middle of the day, having sleeps in the middle of the day. And then I'd be like finding myself wide awake at night, not being able to sleep. And I just like look out the window and just kind of gaze out at the sky, and in a way do something that we call just sitting, where you just, without any judgment about what's in front of you, you just observe what's in front of you. And so I was just like looking at the wallpaper, or not the wallpaper, but I don't have wallpaper, but looking at the walls or out the window, and actually what happened in the end was I just started to feel more connected to myself, and to feel a bit more kind of like care for myself, like that I was important, and it wasn't just about what I was doing for the world or something like that, but what I was experiencing was important as well, So I think that was probably the main kind of result out of the week, was that a bit more of a connection with myself, and with kindness towards myself, or and what do I want to do? Yeah. So these are the couple of the books that I was looking at. So this is the one on the British discovery of Buddhism. So it was all about how, this is the one I read from cover to cover. So it was all about how the Victorians kind of responded to Buddhism when they discovered it, and ways in which they really liked it, and ways in which they were critical of it, and maybe misunderstood it as well, and ways in which they had sort of a self-interested response to it as well, like that, because Victorian Christians, but going out there proselytizing, so I'll just read one thing in this book that's funny. There's a few things that were like this, but so Christianity kind of people in this book, Victorian Christians in this book, a lot of the people who came into contact with Buddhism were like Colonel this or somebody that, ambassador that, they would be out there in the empire, British Empire, and they'd be coming across, they'd be in Ceylon and they'd come across Buddhism and they'd be commenting on it, but they'd probably be kind of, aristocracy, but maybe it's maybe there's a thing in where the empire, British Empire, was sort of woven in with this idea of hard work and energy and all that sort of thing, fueled by the Industrial Revolution. So in a way, that's sort of having a Christian ideal that's a bit like hard work is a good thing, sort of slightly serving capitalist interests or the empire's interests. So when they came across Buddhist monasteries, it was like those kind of where the monks are just they're not really understanding what they're doing. They're thinking they're just sitting about, they're just meditating and all this sort of thing. So it says, small wonder then that Buddhist monasticism was seen as preeminently selfish and antisocial. William Sargent, for example, declared that the monasteries were filled with persons whom we Protestants have learned to regard as the drones of the human hive. It's like they're not backward in coming forward with the criticisms, and like when they discovered Tibetan Buddhism. So Tibetan Buddhism has been very vital for centuries, the series of Dalai Lamas all coming through and all that sort of thing. And the remark that it was very much like Roman Catholicism with all the ritual and everything. And so in Victorian Britain, there's quite a lot of anti-Catholic, pro-Protestant anti-Catholic rhetoric, you know. So when they came across like Tibetan Buddhism, it's like they were, you know, again they were sort of like, bit sort of disparaging of it, you know. But no, it's pretty interesting. I think it's personally, I've got a lot of interest in reading about history, because I think when you read about history, it's like you learn things. You know, history tends to repeat itself, so you don't feel so taken surprised by events when they happen. You know, so I think just learning about Buddhism in the 1900s was, you know, will help my understanding of what needs to happen with it next, or something like that. You know. Yeah, the other book I read, probably about a third to a half of, it's called 50 Key Thinkers on Religion. This is a fantastic book. Obviously, it's 50 thinkers in here. So they only get about maybe 4 pages each, or 4 or 5 pages each. So it's got Sigmund Freud, Karl Marx, various, you know, philosophers like David Hume and stuff like that. So yeah, so that was pretty stimulating and interesting. So to spend, you know, time just like really taking in ideas, I think will be helpful to me, because you know you need to if you're going to have something to say, you need to have had something to think, you know. So you need to have thought things through a little bit, and to think things through, you need a bit of space. You know, you need to actually stop your normal activities and, you know, retire to a quiet place and actually read and think about things. So that'll be good. And I think that what I feel in going forward from here with my sessions, I sort of feel like, well, what might be a good idea would be to I don't want to break the continuity. That's just one thing, but to actually have a proper solitary, like this was a proper solitary where I did actually cut off myself from everybody. To do that every so often, you know, maybe every 4 weeks or 6 weeks or something, you know, so that I can actually reset my parameters, sort of take more in, freshen my ideas up again. Yeah, and there was one other thing that I did on the solitary. So I've got all these art materials in my flat, and often I don't really get around to doing very much. And so I've got kind of paintings, abstract paintings that are like half finished. But I did actually get everything out, get all the paints out and put them around in my lounge. And I just left them all out, you know, while I got on with my reading and things. But every now and then I just came back and I did a little bit of something. So I did actually move one picture along. So I'll just show you the sort of thing that I do. So this is you can see that it's this. It's this is theatre gel. It's called Lee Filters theatre gel. So what I try and do is, like, it looks like something out of a fruit shop, sweet shop. Trying to get it to look better. Anyway, so it's all a bit ignore the shininess on it. But I was struggling because I thought it's not finished. It's not. There's something not where the movement of all the shapes. It's not really finished off. And I just thought, actually, if I bring these two bits down here, no, that's the wrong way around. You know, a bit of green and a bit of blue down at the bottom there. That it's somehow, I've not exactly worked out where to put it, but it just it does kind of finish it off. Anyway, so yeah, and I think you know, reading is one thing, but when I get my art materials out and I start just painting bits of card or sticking these bits of plastic together, it does something quite different to the reading, you know. So it's a bit like it kind of opens me up emotionally. That's the point, you know. That's what art does, isn't it? It's like it sort of, we respond to colour and or sound or whatever it is in the arts. We're responding to it, and so it's helpful in that it kind of can open us up and start to make us not think about things, but emote in a particular way or work with our emotions. You know, if I put that piece of colour there rather than there, what's the difference between those two things and stuff like that? So I'm trying to work something out, and I think one of the things I noticed with doing this was that, or trying to come back to doing this, was that I'm wanting to take shortcuts all the time. You know, I'm not wanting to really think about what do I actually want to say here. You know, I'm wanting to just have a happy accident where I don't need to engage me psyche with the whole thing. You know, so that was interesting to reflect on and think about and realize, you know. So yeah, it's like a emotional reflection or something, really. Okay, so I hope that I hope you got something out today, and yeah, I'll see what happens, to see what I come up with tomorrow. So you know, what topics might arise that I'm interested in or not interested in. So yeah, okay, have a nice day, see you tomorrow. Bye bye.